Let's come to the wall with one hip right up against, with no space at all, almost as if you were trying to sit on the wall. And lay yourself down on the mat, raising the legs up the wall. Scoot your bottom as close to the wall as you can, as long as the hamstrings allow. If the hamstrings are tight, then you can move a little further away from the wall. Make sure there's nothing in the way of your arms, opening them up at 90 degrees, palms facing up. You might like a blanket under the head for extra cushioning and comfort. We'll be here for a little while, so you want to make sure you're comfortable. You can even put a blanket under your pelvis if there's too much pressure against the floor. So the legs are straight up, and if there's a desire for them to fall away from the wall or fall away from each other, you can always put a strap around the shins. Try to relax the weight of the legs down into the pelvis, feeling the thigh bone dropping into the back of the hip joint, the hip socket. Relax the face and the jaw. Relax the arms. And soften wherever there's tension. Let's take long, deep breaths, filling the lungs. And feeling the body relax into the pose. The benefits of this pose are many, and most prominent would be the draining of the lymph from the legs toward the kidneys. So lymph is that clear liquid that carries waste out of the cells so that they can be excreted. But sometimes as we age or we are stagnant, we don't have much movement in our lives, these toxins that gather in the lymph get pooled and they're not flowing out of the body. So legs up the wall can really help remove the excessive lymph that's not flowing from the legs back up to the kidneys. Also, this is really helpful for relieving tired feet and legs, as well as low back. So anyone with low back tension or pain or leg fatigue, this pose is amazing. Something you can do at the end of each day for a few minutes just to bring balance back into your body. It's also helping release tension in the hip sockets. Notice the weight of the legs dropping down and how that releases the tension. Still breathing deeply. Well, here you can bring the soles of the feet together and bend the knees out like diamond-shaped legs or bound angle. For some, this will be pretty easy, and for some, this might be challenging in different ways. The one thing you want to do is let the feet drop down toward your body as much as gravity wants them to. And if the knees pop toward you, just place your hands on your thighs and gently apply a little bit of pressure from the hands to keep the knees from coming toward you. This pose releases the inner leg, and it also helps if the feet have lost circulation in the pose with the legs straight up the wall. And so now circulation will start to regain into the feet. Sometimes the feet against the wall in this position are a little bit uncomfortable. So you can always put a blanket or a bolster behind the feet and against the wall to cushion it. Breathing deeply. Just let the inner leg soften and release, opening up the hips. And you have no work at all here to do. It's just gravity and you allowing the opening to happen. Taking those long, deep breaths. Notice how the inner legs are feeling. Notice how the hips are feeling. We'll take one more deep breath. And then from here, we're going to transition into wide open legs. So you can do one at a time or both at the same time. And I recommend supporting the legs with blocks or even a bolster, which you'll see in a moment how that works. By supporting the legs with the blocks, you're preventing gravity from pulling them down too quickly and too much at once. So you can regulate the opening of the inner leg with a little support. Make sure the block is placed in a comfortable place, not necessarily on the knee, but maybe on the thigh or the outer edge of the lower leg. And try to let go here, softening through the inner leg and hip. So at this point, the support I'm receiving from the blocks just doesn't seem to be enough, so I'm grabbing a bolster just to demonstrate. I'm putting it under my leg. Now my leg is a little higher and more supported than it was with the block. So this is an option you can explore. But I am actually now ready to go deeper, so I'm removing all the supports and allowing my legs to drop open as far as gravity will pull them and as far as my legs will release. Breathing deeply and staying relaxed. Keep taking deep breaths, and if your body is not comfortable here any longer, or you feel the need to change things, you can always bend the knees again and bring the soles of the feet together, or you can extend the legs back up the wall, or you can bring the knees in toward the chest. But there is a special way to come out of this pose, which I'll show you at the end. But what you'll do is you'll bend your knees in toward you before bringing the knees together. We'll try to maintain this posture just for a little bit longer with some deep breaths. Let's take another 5 deep breaths here. Let's just start to bend one knee, bringing the foot in toward the center, and then bring the other foot in, coming back into bound angle, feeling the relief in the inner knee. And then you can bring the knees together and give them a hug. Take a few breaths while you're squeezing the knees in. And then make sure there's nothing on your right side so you can roll onto it. And we'll pause here for a couple of breaths. It's best not to rush coming out of this pose because your blood flow and blood pressure has changed in the last 15 minutes. So you have to give time for the transition to happen little by little. Let's take one more deep breath and then push down into your left hand and push yourself up to sit, and then come to sit against the wall. We'll just lean against the wall, bringing the backs of the hands onto the thighs, pulling up tall through the spine, reaching the crown up and dropping the sit bone down. Keep everything relaxed, shoulders relaxed, jaw relaxed. And come back to full breathing, filling the belly with the breath. Little by little, the breath starts to become more subtle. You don't have to take as deep breaths, but be aware of the breath. And the more subtle it becomes, the closer we are to meditation. So from here, we're going to just focus inward. You can pick a point on which you focus on. Some people pick the heart center. Some people pick the third eye between the eyebrows. Just pick a spot to bring your attention to on the inside. Hold your attention on this point. And then we'll begin to deepen the breath. Bring your awareness back into the space around you. And then you can open the eyes. Namaste.